What's going on, y'all? Welcome to the Rolling the Bottom podcast, the NASCAR podcast. I'm your host, Zach Moyer, episode 1 of the Rolling the Bottom podcast. It's official. Here we go. This is a monumental moment. It's something I've been wanting to do for a very long time. I'm a NASCAR. I'm a huge fan. I'm a super fan. I love it now. Ever since I ended in high school, I just watched all the races, and I just love it, dude. I go to a lot of races now. I have a job. I can pay for them. And to me, they're not that expensive compared to football. There's a lot of things you can get in there for free. You can bring your food, which is going to be cheaper. Most of the time, parking can be cheap. Tickets aren't that cheap. The higher you go up, the more expensive. But and there's so much you can do there. The fan zone stuff that they give you is awesome. So let's just get into it, man. The Charlotte Roval is this weekend. We're going to talk about Xfinity and Cup. We're going to focus more on the Cup side because that's what most people watch. And yeah. So let's talk about the Xfinity Series side. Justin Allgaier won Stage 1. John Hunter Nemechek won Stage 2. And the winner of that race was Sam Mayer, a must-winner. He had to go in that race. He was high below the cut line by a big amount. He was in a must-win situation, and he got it done. He pretty much, I would say, dominated that race. Now, knowing that they brought stage breaks back in this race, it kind of changed the strategy. People that were going for the win were going to go, and they were going to pit early, because they knew if they stayed out and went for stage points, they were going to be in lap traffic. That's how it's always been. NASCAR, they decided to bring stage cautions back because they felt like the Watkins Glen races, I felt the Xfinity Series race with non-stage cautions was always great. The Cup, they chose to bring back these stage cautions because they thought it would make the race better. We'll get into the Cup Series then, and I'll tell you what I think about that. But again, Sam Mayer dominated. The elimination drivers and people, 4 guys that got eliminated were Jeb Burton, Josh Berry, Daniel Hemrick, and Parker Kligerman. Jeb Burton did have a situation there where he did stay out near, I think it was like 9 laps to go, and he chose to stay out on old tires. He didn't really have a car that was capable of winning. I don't really know if he had a car that really capable of getting stage points either, but he chose to stay out, and they had this new restart zone. The restart zone was in the final chicane, which is, it's just, I don't know, it was kind of awkward, kind of weird, but they did it to, less to not allow as many, instead of them coming in there, full throttle, full speed, going down, barreling in there, coming from, the normal restart zone. They chose to do the chicane to try to, keep the ability for a big wreck, big pile up down there, because there's been a bunch of pile ups there, because people are getting aggressive, especially during the end race. You're going to have people be aggressive. They're going to push in there deeper. But also, it's still, the chicane you still could overdrive turn 1, which you still see that, and that's how you kind of saw there with Jeb Burton. Justin Allgaier stayed out there because he pitted early and actually got a caution. So he was on good tires, so he was side by side with Jeb Burton. And they went in there in turn 1, and Jeff, you could already see he was getting loose. He was probably pushing it hard. He realized that if he didn't clear Justin Allgaier there, he was done. He was dead meat pretty much going in there. He was going to get freaking eaten up by a lot of people there. But yeah, he spun out, and they were side by side. That also cost Justin Allgaier to pretty much, he got involved. It was a big hit too. Like door side, they were door slamming each other, ran into the wall. It was a big hit, and I was listening to the DBC, the Door Bumper Clear guys on the Dirty Mo. It's a great podcast. But TJ Mayers was saying that if they just, I think it was TJ or it was Freddie, but they were just saying if Justin just would have, if he just would have like let Jeb, be in front of him, he was gonna end up passing him sometime because he had the better tires, he had the better car. He just should have never forced the issue. I'm not sure why he did that. He forced the issue and cost himself the wreck. He could have been right there because now he was pretty much on just as new tires as what Sam Mayer was. But no, got involved, and he's probably disappointed. He probably look back now and think, I should have maybe just let Jeb go, and then I'll get him and get him later in the run. But no, that was the one big wreck. That caused Jeb Burton to kind of end his down. He wasn't fully eliminated there, but yeah. And then Josh Berry, Daniel Hemrick. I want to get into that a little bit later here. Parker Kligerman, what a run, what a season for a guy for Big Machine Vodka Racing, which I believe that's the name. Their sponsor is Big Machine Vodka. I think it's Peach Vodka. For them to what a run, what a season. For them to end up outpointing Riley Herbst, who is with a bigger team, Stewart House Racing. For them to do that is really, really impressive, and I think they should be proud. They did have some issues at Bristol that kind of, I think it was mechanical issues that kind of sent them back. I think if they didn't have that, that could have helped them not be in that situation. But won a good run. They had opportunity. He was good at road courses. They were right on the top 10 all day. Just didn't have the speed what Sam Mayer had. But yeah, Sam Mayer wins the race, locks himself in. He's 3 wins this year, all on road courses. One at Rogue America, if I can say it right. Another one was at Watkins Glen, and then this one was at the Charlotte Roval. He's a road course guy, and that's good. He definitely, I think, if he wants to compete, maybe for those championships in the Xfinity Series, he needs to definitely try to find a way to get those wins at the ovals and short track, because that's where it's going to be. But 3 wins, he locked himself in. And you never know, he can go on a tear, he can go on a momentum. That's a good momentum to go in the next round, heading into Las Vegas. And then I want to talk about Josh Berry and Daniel Hemrick. Both guys eliminated in the first round of the Xfinity Series, and are both going to Cup Series rides next year. Josh Berry going to be replacing Kevin Harvick in the 4, and then Daniel Hemrick going to Holly and replacing Justin Haley in the 31. Those are two of those guys. I actually do believe Josh Berry. I think he's a very talented dude. But this year he's been good. He's been good on points, but he's had opportunities to win races and just never finished them. He's just been consistent, but not capable of winning the races, winning and finishing those races. Daniel Hemrick, same thing, man. And I don't know. Something about Daniel Hemrick for me is he just doesn't. Like, I don't know. Like, to me, he does not deserve. He's not earned that calling right, and then it must just be with sponsorship. I know his sponsor is some type of flavored water company. I forget. I'm not gonna say it. I forget. It's something with a C. But he did win a championship. He technically bumped in the run, kind of bumped Austin Cindric and got door slammed him and rubbed him and was able to beat him at the finish line to win a championship. That's his only win, and won him a championship. So good for him. But then after that, he won that for Joe Gibbs, but then they didn't keep him. They let him go, and he went to calling. And now he's getting this second opportunity. He did race for RCR a couple years ago, and it was like a 2-year experiment and just didn't go well. And he went down to the lower ranks, and he's only won one race, which he also won a championship, which is just still kind of fluky, kind of Mickey Mouse. That's what the term they use. But yeah, I don't know. I just think it's a bad look, in my opinion, when you got 2 guys who both are going to the Cup Series next year, and they get eliminated in the first round of the Xfinity Series playoffs. It just doesn't. I don't know. It just come on now. It doesn't sit right. It just feels kind of weird. It's like, man, I don't know. It's just kind of embarrassing for them. But yeah, Sam Mayer, congrats to Sam Mayer winning that race. Good for him. And yeah, he's a legit road course guy. But yeah, so let's get into the Cup Series race. This race, this is elimination race as well, and Tyler Reddick, who was on the pole for this race, won stage 1 because he was -2 in the cut line. He was -2 in the cut line, and above Brad Keselowski was above by 2. And we'll get to the eliminations in that round. Tyler Reddick won stage 1, and then Chase Elliott won stage 2, a non-playoff guy, but he is in the driver's points, so I believe he did advance to the final 8 in the owner standings, which is big because that's where the owners get paid. That's where they get the most money from. And then AJ Allmendinger won the race to the Bank of America Roval 400. He had and the thing about this is when you get with stage cautions and road courses, it really throws the strategy up. So if you're trying to win the race, you're going to pit early, because then the people that are staying out for stage points, they're going to win their stage points, and then they're going to go to the back, and you're going to second to the front. And when you're not a playoff guy, excuse me, when you're not a playoff guy like AJ Allmendinger, you can do that. You can just come in early, pit, and you can keep your track position, because he's not fighting for playoff points. He's not competing for playoff points championship. The funny thing about when Chase Elliott won stage 2, they were telling us how it was a bad thing because he was trying to pit he was trying to pit early before the stage so he gets the track position. And then when they were telling him, because I believe there was a caution, I don't know exactly what it was for. I think it might have been Josh Bilicki, number 78, reckon. No, actually, it might have been Ricky Stenhouse wrecking. I'm not exactly sure. I have to go back. But they were telling, and the NBC crew was telling you how it was a bad thing, because now he couldn't pit before the stage. So now he had to pit, and then he loses all his track position, and he never came back from it. I don't really know where he finished. I did not check. But I was just telling you how bad it was. But But yeah, for AJ Allmendinger to win that race, I just love when drivers, when they win, they show the passion. They show I love when drivers show how much it means to them to win. He was crying because he didn't know how much longer. He never knew when you never know when you're going to win in that race in the Cup Series. It's one of the toughest. I think it's the toughest series to win in. It's the most diverse in all of motorsports. But I loved it. And a lot of people there is some rumors out there that he wants. AJ did say he wants to stay in Cup, but I think they're calling in their post race. They said that their post race press conference. They said Matt Colling and Chris Rice both. Matt Colling is the owner of Colling Racing, and then Chris Rice is the president. They both said that their decision for the 16 has already been made up. So, I think he said it's weird because AJ wants to stay in Cup, which I would think he want to stay in because, he came from Xfinity. He was a lot more competitive in Xfinity. The calling cars in Xfinity are a lot better. So you think you want to stay there and win a lot more and win because, the whole motto of calling racing is trophy hunting. They go for trophies. Their Cup Series program isn't where their Xfinity Series program is. Excuse me. But for him to win, that's awesome. But yeah, I don't know the rumors for the 16. I think we'll get into the silly season stuff then. But the 4 guys that were eliminated were Brad Keselowski, Kyle Busch, Bubba Wallace, and Ross Chastain. I'll start off with Ross. He kind of cost himself a chance to really put himself in at Talladega, where he got in a wreck where I believe Ricky Stenhouse kind of ran out of gas or had an issue, and everyone kind of checked up, and he tried to shoot his gap to get around it, and he got collected and broke a toe link, and he was done. And that really killed him. Now he knew he had to go into Roval, knowing he was below the cut line by, I think it was like 16, 17 points. Still doable, but yeah, he was going to be trying to play, more, you had to play offense and you had to get stage points. But the thing about that is when you play stage points, you're starting in the back, so you're not getting good track position. But yeah, this has been a down year for Trackhouse. Last year, Trackhouse, Ross made the Final Four. And that was a year where Ross was on a flipping tear. He was tearing up, won 2 races, was always in the headlines because he was an aggressive driver. He did the hail freaking Valley at Martinsville, which I got to see live, which was pretty incredible. Might have been a moment that and made the Final Four and had a chance to finish second in the points there. But this year, I think Trackhouse found something last year that this year every team has caught up on with whatever they were able to do with their cars, the setup they were setting them up with, and whenever they found that the other teams didn't find yet, I think they found out they caught up to them. They're just not as effective. Daniel Suarez didn't make the playoffs. That's a bad thing for Suarez, Ross. Just a down year for him. And then we'll go into Kyle Busch. He actually finished third. He actually was the only person that was close to maybe punching himself in by winning. He had to win. He was like 26 below. He wrecked in Texas. That killed him. And then in Talladega, he also got in a wreck, but he was able to continue, but just not. His car was just a little beat up from damage. So aerodynamically, he just wasn't as effective in that race and couldn't really make moves that he needed to have an opportunity to win. Yeah, he had a chance, but I think he realized that he didn't have the same car as what AJ Allmendinger did. Because the thing is, Kyle was playing the strategy of trying to win the race, so he wasn't going for stage points at all. So he was not trying to do that, which I think was a smart because I think he realized he had a car. You never know. If something happens to AJ, makes a mistake. But yeah, I think Kyle, he hurt himself early in this playoff round where he got wrecked. He wrecked in Texas, and then he got involved in that wreck. Not by his doing at Talladega. Kind of killed him. And then we'll go into Brad Keselowski. Brad, he got eliminated. His race. This race was a tough one for Brad. He missed the chicane a couple of times. I think it was like 2 times. I don't know. He was struggling this race. He's not the best road course racing compared to what his teammate is, Chris Buescher. He missed the chicane a couple of times, and then I think he was very confusing with what NASCAR was telling him to do. Like, I think they said to tell him to park in the front stretch because he missed the front stretch chicane. He didn't stop there. So they told him to do it. When he comes back around, he'll just stop there in the front stretch area. Whenever near the front stretch chicane, they told him to stop there. And I guess then they changed their mind to tell him to do a drive-through penalty. So I guess there was a little confusion there with what there. But yeah, Brad, I think he kind of killed himself there at Talladega. Where he he got in a wreck. He was pushing aggressively, pushing Carson Hocevar, which I know Carson has not been. He's very young. He's a rookie at this. That was his first plate track at first plate track in the new next gen, which he's still getting used to. So that it wasn't that probably. But I was trying to think, hey, he was probably expecting that, hey, you're gonna come in front, cut in front of me here. We're gonna try to go to the front and just push too aggressive and got caught in the wreck, and that cost him pretty much. He did win stage 2 in that Talladega race, which helped him with points, but only being 2+ and not being the best road course racer, and Tyler Reddick being a much better road course racer, that just wasn't going to be any good luck there. A good situation for him. And then we'll get into last but not least, Bubba Wallace. Bubba, he didn't have a bad round, but he didn't come in with any stage points. So he was always, looking, just was always going to be the one that he had to kind of catch up in stage points. He was always going to be down in each round. And, Texas, he had a chance in Texas to make it. He had a restart there, and he probably said that's what cost him a chance to win there, because he made a bad decision on a restart, and he blames himself for that. And it's great to take ownership. But then also Talladega, he's a good super speedway racer, but he's never in never in good position to really make any moves there. It's very hard. It's hard to pass there. Talladega, it's really hard to get the third line going, so you just can never really make moves and get himself in good position. So he was not able to capitalize on those points. And then here, I believe he finished. He started third for the roller race. That was his best start ever. I think Bill was starting to become better at the road courses. He's, with Tyler Reddick being his teammate. Tyler's really, really good here. He's won a lot of road course races in this car. I think he's learning a lot. He's improving in his road course craft. But then just kind of got shuffled back with this strategy. He was going for stage points. But he got stage points, but just never, he just never was able to get enough. And I think he just was struggling. It was never able to work out for him, get enough stage points there. But yeah, so those 4 eliminated from this round. And that's it. I gotta say, I think the race was decent. The restart zone was really weird again. I think it's I get why they did it. Excuse me. I get why they did it, because they didn't want to have a big freaking crapshoot going down to turn 1 if they restart on the normal oval restart zone, because they would be coming a lot more speed. But yeah, you were still able to overdrive turn 1. A lot of people, NASCAR made this decision. Oh, we gotta put more. The reason that road courses aren't that good, and the reason there's not that many cautions, is because there's not that many wrecks. There's no stage. We need stage breaks because it makes the wrecks more interesting. I think there's some truth to that, knowing that there was more wrecks, but I don't know if this race was going to be any different due to the stage cautions, because I just think it being an elimination race is what made it good, because people were being aggressive. They were making aggressive moves that they needed to make. But the only thing that made it better was because there was more wrecks. And is that really good? That's not good. We don't want wrecks tearing up cars, and that makes it a better race. The racing still got strung out. It's still very hard to pass. Road course package just isn't good. This car needs to be. They need to fix this car. And which I hear a lot, and I agree. They're either gonna get this tire to fall off more wear, or they're gonna up this horsepower and get more power in this car, so they slide around more. The wear in the tire, smaller tire. These cars are pretty much sports cars. The Australian sports car series, that's kind of what they run, and they got big tires, big brakes. They just kind of drive like sports cars, and so I think it hurts the road course power, because the cars drive too good. They need to drive where, if tire wear happens, it affects the car. It makes it tougher to drive and get more diversity in speed, and also the cars are all the same. So yeah, I thought the race was okay, but I think the reason that made it a little bit better than what any other road course race was because there was wrecks. I don't know if that really makes racing better. But no, not a bad race. I really wish they would go back to the oval, but they're not. And we'll get into the schedule was released, the Cup Series schedule, so we'll get into that. Let's get into some off-season / silly season, what they call it. We're going to talk about Austin Cindric. Austin Cindric just announced he signed on deals for 2024. Yeah, he last year he won the Daytona 500. That's the biggest race that they put on, and and this year he's just been racing. He's just not raced well. For me, for a Penske car, his average finish is 21.9. His laps led are 33. He has one top five. He has four top tens and zero poles. Um, average finish on 21.9. That's just not good for what Penske cars are required. Last year they were probably one of the best 14s, maybe the best 14. This year it's probably more like RFK. Austin Cindric needs to. I think this next year. I assume it's a 1-year deal. He needs to start performing. I think Ford will be better. Ford's been kind of a down year. Whatever changes they did, they're coming off a whole new bumper. So that should help aerodynamically. I think that's where they're hurting the most. I think they have the speed, but just not aerodynamically compared to what the Toyotas and Chevys do. So Cindric's going to need to step it up, and he's going to need to freaking make it happen. If not, he may be losing the ride. I'm not sure who will replace him because the depth that Ford has isn't as much as what other teams, Toyota, Chevy does. Their young talent for Ford is kind of lacked after they lost Zane Smith to Chevy, which he was supposed to be that next big prospect for Ford. But yeah, we'll see what he can do. And and also brand new news that happened yesterday. Carson Hocevar signed a multi-year deal with Spire. This was a big rumor. Carson has done pretty well in the Truck Series. Out of 5 years and 75 races, he has 20 top fives, 32 top tens, one pole, laps landed 589, average finish is 13.3. So Carson's truck stats are very good. Yeah, he's one of those people that's going right from trucks to Cup. His Cup stats, he has gotten to race some couple of Cup races. He's got to race them in the 42 for Legacy Motorco. That's how Noah Gragson got suspended for some off-track issues. But yeah, he has not. Carson's stats, he doesn't have any top fives or top tens. His average finish is 22.5. His best finish is 11th at Bristol, which that's really good. At Bristol, that's a tough track. It's a really hard track. A lot of drivers like it. But no, Carson he's been really, really good. He's been most of the time, all races I watch, he's been running in the top 20. And that's really good. Compared to what that car, when Gragson was running it, he has not been as good in it. Gragson was, average, maybe most best he would get top, 25. I don't know what it is, but ever since as Legacy Motor Club is going, as we all know, they're going to Toyota. They just signed a deal with Toyota a couple months ago. That's already been known. I think Chevy has just stopped, with any manufacturer support. Now, I think Legacy is just trying some stuff. Whenever the way they're setting them up is different to what, and it's just working for them. Whenever they're building their cars, it's working for them. They're even Eric Jones. Eric Jones wasn't running good. That's Carson Hocevar's teammate. Eric Jones has run a lot better too. He was running running a little bit better than Gragson, but now Eric Jones is running a lot better. So yeah, that whole team's doing a lot better. But hopefully next year when they get, I think they're going to get a lot more support from Toyota. They're going to be at the third team because Toyota only has two teams. They have a total of 4, 5, 6 cars in their entire field. So then they're going to have 8 total. So that'll be more there. More cars on track is always good. More support from Toyota. Toyota now taking over. So Chevy loses 2, and I think that should be good. But Carson going to Spire. Spire making a whole lot of moves, making a crap ton of moves. They went and bought Kyle Busch Motorsports for I believe it was $25 million, and then they just bought a charter from Live Fast Motorsports for $40 million, which is a crap ton of money. So Spire is making a ton of moves. They're trying to go win. They're trying to go win some races, dude. They're trying to go win some freaking races, and they're trying to build their program. They're trying to be legit now. They don't want to be, a backmarker team. Spire's trying to be a contender, and now they're going to have their driver lineup is going to be set. They're going to have Carson Hocevar in the 77, and they're going to have Corey LaJoie in the 7, and then they're going to have Zane Smith. He's signed to Trackhouse, but it's like an affiliation. He's like an affiliation that he's signed to Trackhouse, but he's going to drive for Spire. So it looks like there's a little team alliance there that we'll be doing. Carson Hocevar going to be replacing Ty Dillon. Ty Dillon out of the ride for right now. I don't know where he'll go. Last year he was with Legacy Motor Club, once was GMS, Penny GMS Racing. So now that's 2 years, back-to-back years he's out of a ride after 1 year. I don't know if it's him, the driver, or the car. He's never been in a good situation to show his talent. So I think for him, he needs to go to a lower series and try to win. If he can win, it's good. You gotta win. You gotta show teams that you're capable of winning. So hopefully he can go find a ride down there. And then let's get into Hailie Deegan. She just signed last week. She signed a deal to go race for A&M Racing. A&M Racing also renewed their partnership with Roush Yates Engines. Roush Yates is the engine provider for Ford. They provide Ford, all the Ford teams, most of the Cup teams. I don't know if they provide any engines. I know ThorSport is the one truck team in the truck series. I'm not sure they have Roush Yates engines for that. But yeah, that's going to be good. Roush Yates provides great power for all teams, and I think that should help. And Hailie Deegan is signed to a developmental deal. She's a Ford developmental driver. So that should be good. Her sponsor is going to be Airbox Incorporation. Never heard of them. And then Viva Tequila Seltzer. So 2 new sponsors, it looks like. But this is what's really getting into it. This is what I want to talk about. Hailie Deegan's stats. Out of, I believe, 4 years in the truck series, she ran one race. I believe it was in 2020. I think. Out of 67 races, she has 0 top 5s and 5 top 10s. That's it. 5 top 10s. That's it. And 0 top 5s. And only has led 2 laps. And this is where I have a problem with this. Is like she has one Xfinity Series start, which is at Las Vegas, and everyone was drooling over the fact that she could. Oh my gosh, 13. She's going to be way better in Xfinity, and maybe she will. But you cannot go off her first truck race she ever did. She finished 16th at Kansas. That was good. They're both races. Yeah, Xfinity she finished better, but everyone always, I feel like, is always giving her a break. Like, oh, wrong place, wrong time. Well, it's her fault. If she's in the back, that's her fault. She needs to qualify better. She needs to drive better. She was in the best truck team. ThorSport was the best Ford team they have in trucks. She had probably a bunch of support. She got a crap ton of support from Ford. Ford was like sponsoring all her races. I don't know. There's like only there was like only like 4 trucks non-sponsored by Ford. So she has a lot of support from Ford, and I think that also could help. I think A&M Racing's going to get probably more support from Ford too, because now Hailie Deegan, Ford's really the Hailie Deegan. Such a help, but has Hailie Deegan earned this ride to Xfinity? No. I mean, there's other guys that have way better stats than her, and they're not getting a new ride. But she can stink at trucks, and that's what she's rewarded with, a ride to Xfinity. It just doesn't look good, but this is a different age, and we're in a different age now in motorsports. It's a lot more with, if you got money, you got an opportunity to get a good ride, but also you still got to perform, because just because you got money doesn't mean you're gonna stay there, because most of the time you'll end up getting released and getting fired if you can't perform. But yes, we're in a whole new age now. If you got money, you got an opportunity to get a good ride. But yeah, to me, Hailie Deegan better perform. It's a multi-year deal. I think she better make the playoffs. She better make the playoffs one of these years, because if not, she could be out. And yeah, I don't care, 2 years, take it easy, but this is it. This is it for her. She doesn't perform in this Xfinity Series. I don't know where she goes. The hype for her was when she was in the K&N Pro Series. She won 2 races there. That was when the hype, and then the hype just slowly went down. After her lackluster performances in truck. I know the truck series, they drive a lot differently. There's a lot younger kids, so they make more mistakes. They wreck more. There's all these excuses of why she isn't performing well. So hopefully Xfinity Series is the right fit for her. Car drives differently there, and yeah, we'll see with her, and good luck for her. Wish her the best. Hopefully, hopefully she proves you wrong. Everyone wrong, that she's legit. And now we'll move into the NASCAR Cup Series playoffs. Not the NASCAR Cup Series playoffs. The NASCAR Cup Series 24 schedule was released. Let's just break it down. We got the Clash in the Coliseum, the Daytona Duels, Daytona 500, Atlanta, Las Vegas, Phoenix, Bristol, Coda, Circuit of the Americas, Road Course, Richmond, Martinsville, Texas, Talladega, Dover, Kansas, Darlington, North Wilkesboro for the All-Star race. And then we had the Charlotte for the Cook 600. And then we're going to be back to the St. Louis Worldwide Technology Raceway. And then we'll have Sonoma, which is another road course. And then we're going to Iowa. Iowa is the new track on the block. This is already exciting that they've been owned by NASCAR for a long time. They had a couple of Xfinity Series races a couple of years ago, and they stopped going there. IndyCar goes there a lot, and IndyCar has put on some really good events. A lot of people show up. And now NASCAR is going there. I don't know. There was talks about Montreal, the road course in Canada. There was a rumor that that was going to be on the schedule, but it looks like that didn't work out, so they just chose to go to Iowa. It stinks because I don't like that. If this is the reason that they're going to Iowa is only because they couldn't get Montreal, I think that would stink because I think Iowa, it would be better. I think it would be nice. It would look better if this was like a 3-year deal in Iowa, because it just looks like this is like a replacement for Montreal that we may get next year in the 2025 schedule. But looking forward to Iowa. It'll be exciting. And then we'll go to New Hampshire, Nashville, and then we'll go back to the Chicago street race. Hopefully that race can happen. We won't have weather, and they can get all the concerts and everything that was going on for that event. That should be fun. And then we go to Pocono. And then we return finally to the Indianapolis Oval. We're done going to that road course. We actually get to see these next-gen cars at the Oval. In the Oval. I feel like the Pocono race has always been good, and it's not the same as Indianapolis, but it's got long, flat turns, a little bit of banking. So hopefully, I felt like those Pocono races have been some of the best Pocono races we've seen in all of NASCAR in a long time at that track. So I'm hoping that Indy cars race well. I hope people can show up for that Indianapolis race, because it's just one of the reasons we left was because the attendance is so bad. But you got to realize that place can sit 350,000 people for the Indy 500. So hopefully they can make that event big, bring concerts and bring that event. It's going to be the 30th anniversary of from the first Brick Car 400. So that should be good. And then we go into our the Olympics. The Paris Olympics are coming back. I'll be back after. So we'll have our 2-week break for that, so NBC can cover all that. And then we'll be back for Richmond, Michigan, Daytona, and Darlington. And then we'll go into the playoffs. Darlington being the last race in the playoffs. Excuse me. I think the reason I don't like this, having Daytona as the final race in the playoffs, final race of the regular season was a gem, was golden. And I think the reason that this is like this, why Darlington's the cutoff, is because of the Olympics. It throws the schedule up, it pushes the schedule up more. I just think it stinks. You go from Daytona and the last race as at Darlington, it just doesn't feel the same. And I think one of the reasons that they didn't switch it was because I don't know if Darlington they might have an agreement for Labor Day, which I believe that's Labor Day for the race to be on Labor Day. So I don't like that. I wish Daytona was the final, because I think that's like, that might be, having Daytona as the last race in the regular season is like one of the best things NASCAR's ever done, if not the best thing NASCAR's ever done when it comes to just, it's golden, it's gem. And then we go into the playoffs. The first round of the round of 16 for the 2024 schedule is Atlanta, Watkins Glen, and Bristol. That right there is a complete, I guess, I don't know, wild card. A lot of people, this is where I have a problem with the schedule. I think so the 10 races in the playoffs is Atlanta, Watkins Glen, Bristol, Kansas to start the round of 12, and then Talladega, and then Charlotte Roval to end it, and then the round of 8 is Las Vegas, Miami, Martinsville, and then the championship is Phoenix. Having two super speedways, Atlanta, it's aging. The asphalt's aging, so it'll continue to drive differently. I think Atlanta has a lot more handling. The car has to handle when I drive there, but it's still super speedway. There's a lot of luck involved. Being there in the right time, right moment, not to get caught up in a wreck. And then you have Watkins Glen, which I like Watkins Glen, but I don't know if the fans are going to show it. It's going to be when school's back, and camping almost sells up there. But now knowing it's in August, it's going to be a little cooler there. I don't know if fans are going to show up for that race the same way they did when they were, not in August, I think this will be in September. I don't know if fans are going to show up the same way they did when the race was, in August, warmer, when kids were in school. So I don't know about that. And then we have Bristol. Bristol's a good race. Even with this car and a short track package, I still think the race was good. And then you go with Kansas in the round of 12. That's a good way to start off. Kansas has been one of the best tracks. The intermediate package, the mile and a half package for this next gen car drives great on the mile and a half package. One of the best. And then you go to Talladega, and then a wild card race. Two super speedways, man. It's too luck. There's too much luck involved. There's too much, you can get wrecked out in both of those Atlanta races from your wrongdoing. And now that could affect, you could be the regular season championship and have a bunch of points, and then you wreck out in Atlanta. That kills your points. And then you go to Martinsville, which is a road course. This is just, I like, for the NASCAR is turning into they're turning into too much of an entertainment. This is too much of an entertainment thing. And 2 road courses and 2 super speedways in the playoffs, dude, and back-to-back rounds, dude. That's not what we are. We're not super speedways. We're oval series, man. And I don't like that the Roval's back, because I think the oval that's the reason that people don't like the Roval right now, because the oval at the Charlotte oval race for the Coca-Cola Country has been incredible. And also what really kills, I like the round 8 is actually a good round. Like, it has real tracks, good tracks, Las Vegas, Miami, Martinsville. I like those a lot. Those are perfect. Awesome. And then the championship is at Phoenix again. Phoenix, I just hate Phoenix. It's just not put on good racing. It's not a good track for a championship. I just don't, it's what actually, to me, is what kills the whole schedule the most. We got to get the race out of Phoenix. And hopefully this next season's the last time it's in there. I know the one of the reasons it's owned by NASCAR, and it has a whole renovation to it, but I hope NASCAR listens to its fans and realizes that this should be the last year of Phoenix, and they got to go somewhere. You got to go to a mile and a half. Mile and a half have been some of the best racing. If you want to bring it back to Miami, Homestead, where it used to be for all those years, bring it back there. But do not go to a short track, because the short track package and the road course packages have not been great. The racing has not been compelling or competitive enough. So I think I don't like the 2 super speedways. And I don't like 2 super speedways. I don't mind the 2 road courses. I feel like you can control your destiny at road courses a little more, but still, that's just not what we are. We're not a road course. We're not a super speedway series. We're ovals and short tracks. That's what we are. We're not F1. And I feel like the super speedways are meant to be more about entertainment and not about who's the best and who's been the best all year. So I don't like that. And also the Clash of the Coliseum in the beginning of the year, I don't know. It's cool to bring it back, but I think they gotta switch it up. I think it's run its course. It's just not as exciting. 2 years was great, right? Hopefully the fans show for the race. Hopefully people in LA show them and they can bring new fans. And then with the Daytona 500, always great. Right? That's awesome. But then they also, after the 500, they go back. They go to another super speedway in Atlanta. And Atlanta, that's back-to-back super speedways. And I get why they're doing it, because they're doing it for, Daytona 500 brings in the most viewership. The most people watch that race out of all races. So they want to hopefully keep those fans. Let's send her some new fans watching the 500. Well, guess what? That's what next week is. Another super pack racing where it's tight racing and wrecks and I get why they're doing it. It's because it's really close to Daytona, so it's they can teams could kind of travel right up from Daytona to Atlanta if they wanted to. It's just right there. Maybe fans that went from 500 they can go to Atlanta. But it's going to be freezing in Atlanta, so it's not going to be the best fan experience. But And also I want to go back to the Indian Oval. I don't like that what they should have did is they should have had Richmond. And then they should have had their Olympic break, and then they should have used that Olympic break to advertise the Indy Oval. Oh, first time they're coming back to the Indy Oval, the 30th anniversary, and the Brickyard 400. They should have used that. They could have marketed the crap out of that Brickyard. That would have been golden for NASCAR, but they chose not to. I don't know who's making the schedule, but they missed out. They missed out on some key opportunities. So I don't like that. But yeah, those are my thoughts on the schedule. And now let's get into some pre-race previews for Las Vegas. We'll start off the Xfinity Series. The final eight for the Xfinity Series is Justin Allgaier, John Hunter Nemechek, Cole Custer, Austin Hill, and Sheldon Creed, and Chandler Smith, and Sammy Smith. This race is going to be on Saturday. I really think that I think the Final Four. I think about the Final Four for this race. I think this is going to be a good race. The Xfinity Series has always been a really good. I think it's the best series in all of NASCAR. the cars drive the best in Xfinity. I think this race is always good. I think I don't know. John Hunter Nemechek, I think, is right now the highest in points. He has the most cushion. If I go to the playoff grid here as it's loading for me. So John Hunter Nemechek has a cutoff. He's plus 37 to the cutoff. Austin Hill is plus 21. Justin Allgaier is plus 17. And then Sammy Smith with winning that race is plus 2. And then below the cut line is Cole Custer, which is minus 2. Chandler Smith is a minus 11. Sheldon Creed, which is minus 12. And then Sammy Smith, minus 14. So the cut line, the people below the drivers are really, really, really tight in the standings. So that could switch. And like really, everyone is below the cut line by like 14 points. The margin between fourth in the standings and eighth is 14 points. I would say I think the race is going to be good. In this round, we have 2 mile and a half. We have Las Vegas, Homestead, and Martinsville. I think Homestead is one of the best tracks in all of NASCAR. I think that's going to be a great race. For this weekend, my pick for Las Vegas, if I can go back to my notes, my pick for this weekend is John Hunter Nemechek. The Toyotas at a mile house this year have been really good. John Hunter has been consistent. He just won Texas. He also won Kansas this past year. Not too recently ago. He's been probably the best car, best driver, the best team all year. I see him winning Las Vegas. And then my final four to make it through, I got Justin Allgaier, John Hunter Nemechek, Cole Custer, and Austin Hill. I think Justin Allgaier has been really consistent. He's been the best junior motorsports car. He's been the best Chevy, I think, all year. And then the same thing with John Hunter Nemechek. He's been the best Toyota, been the best, very consistent. And then Cole Custer, I think he's below it by 2, but I think he's going to be consistent. He's been consistent. He's been the best Ford all year. He's the only Ford left, a solo man. And then Austin Hill. Austin Hill has another. The reason I'm picking him is I believe he's 21 above the cut line, which I just checked. He's 21 plus. He's got a lot of wins. And the only thing that worries me about Austin Hill is that he's just not been as consistent. He doesn't have any race wins. Well, no, never mind. Excuse me. He just hasn't been as consistent since the Daytona. He's been good, just not capable of winning those races. So that's the only thing that worries me about him. And then, same thing with Cole Custer. I don't know if Cole Custer, I think only has, he has only 2 wins, and they're all on road courses, I believe. If that's correct. Yeah, I think it's two road course wins, I believe. One in the Chicago street course, and then there was another one in, I think, Seattle, or I forget. But that's the one thing that worries me. And then, so let me get back to my my notes. Yeah, and then Austin Hill, Cole Custer, John Hunter Nemechek, and Justin Allgaier are my final 4. I think it's a big round. Xfinity Series is definitely the best series. The cars are able to drive. They're low on grip. They don't have to shift. I think it's going to be exciting. It's going to be fun to watch. Definitely tune into those races on Saturday. So then let's get into the Cup Series. So the playoff standings for the Cup Series is Willie Meyer is plus 20. Martin Truex Jr. is plus 15. Danny Hamlin is plus 11. And Kyle Larson is plus 3. And then below the cut line, Chris Buescher is minus 3. Ty Reddick is minus 8. Christopher Bell is minus 8 as well. They're tied there for 6 and 7. And then number 8 and minus 10 is Ryan Blaney. The next 3 races are Las Vegas, Homestead, and Martinsville. The winner, William Byron won this past fall in Las Vegas. He won the Las Vegas this year's Las Vegas race. He's gonna be good. William Meyer Martin Truex, Denny Hamlin, Kyle Larson. I can see all four of them. They could win. They could win any of these races coming up. They're all very good. They all got fast cars. Tyrrell is really good at Homestead. The Toyotas have been the best manufacturer all year. They have the most speed at all tracks, mile and a half especially. I could see, early, Chris Buescher, who's the number 50, he's the closest from not being out. He's the closest from being in the Final Four. He's been really consistent. I think RFK is going to give them a lot more. He's going to get a lot more support, a lot more attention now that Brad's out. So I really see Chris Buescher. He could win. He has 3 wins in the season. He has Richmond, Michigan, and a super speedway in Daytona. So he could sneak up, and I think RFK's will put a lot of attention on Chris. Chris has a lot of potential there to make it in. Tyrrell is really going to Homestead Miami, and I could see him making it there. And then Christopher Bell, he won Martinsville last year's. He won last year's Martinsville race. That's the way he punched his ticket in. And then Ryan Blaney, Penske's been good at Las Vegas, and Las Vegas could be a track he could win. Martinsville, he's been decent at Martinsville, but he hasn't had winning speed there. The Fords have not been good. The only thing that hurts the Fords in this round is there's 2 mile and a half, and aerodynamically they struggled this year. I would say Martinsville is going to be the best chance for those guys to either get a win or be. They're going to need to be able to put themselves in a good position. Chris Buescher and Ryan Blaney, they're going to need to put themselves in a good point position to make it in there. But my Final Four to make it into the Final Four for Phoenix is going to be William Byron, Kyle Larson, Denny Hamlin, Chris Buescher, riding out. I just think William Byron has a big point buffer. He's been really good. He could win any of these races. Same thing with Denny Hamlin. I think Denny Hamlin's been consistent. Kyle Larson, I can see Kyle Larson winning Homestead. He won that race last year. They only race at Homestead once a year. So I can see him making it in. I can see him winning Homestead. That's where I see Larson making it. I see him winning. I see him winning. Winning Homestead. And then Chris Buescher, I have Chris Buescher. He's probably the one, sneaky one in there, because I just think he's there. RFK has been the best 4 team, and I just think he's been the most consistent. He's the closest from the Final Four than anyone else to make it on points. He's probably one of the only ones he's going to be the only one that maybe has a good opportunity to make it on points, I think. But that's the Final Four. William Byron, Kyle Larson, Denny Hamlin, Chris Buescher. I would not be surprised if we saw, Christopher Bell make it, Tyrrell make it, Ryan Blaney make it. Anyone, I would not be surprised if anyone make it. I think Tyrrell can go out here and win any one of these races. Martinsville, he's been iffy, okay at, but I could see him win it. He's really good at Homestead. His record at Homestead, I don't think he's won there yet in his career, but he's been really, really good. But yeah, I think that's going to do it. My winner for Las Vegas is going to be Denny Hamlin. And I think I covered all my topics. And guys, I appreciate you guys all hopefully checking this episode out. If you want to leave a review, please do. Go down and give me a couple stars. Tell me what you think. Tell me if I suck. Tell me what I should do better. Tell me what you want me to do. And I want to read. And guys, this is I'm really excited for this podcast. I'm excited to continue to build, continue to improve. If you guys are watching YouTube, feel free to give me a comment down below, and I would love to answer your comments. And if you want to go check out my Instagram, go give me a follow there. And I hope you guys all have a great rest of your week, and I'll be back here next Wednesday. See you, y'all.